Alright, so ChatGPT is kind of like a supercharged language sidekick. But what's actually happening when it replies to us? Well, we're diving into the world of transformer models, predictions, and mind-bending math, so buckle up. First up, imagine this. ChatGPT has read almost everything, from Wikipedia articles to websites to books. But here's the thing. It doesn't understand any of it. Instead, it's breaking down sentences into tokens, which are just little word chunks it uses to keep track. It's like taking every single sentence, shattering it into pieces, and learning how those pieces usually fit together. All of these tokens are then shuffled through something called a transformer model. Now, what's a transformer model? Think of it like a massive web of neurons or switches that can flip on or off based on what words are around it. Transformers use something fancy called attention, which basically means ChatGPT is constantly rereading itself to decide, what word should come next? So when you ask a question, it's zooming in on all the previous words in the chat, flipping switches on or off to pick the right word next. This is why it seems to follow your thoughts. Sort of like it's reading your mind, but not really. Then we hit the probabilities. Here's where it gets wild. When ChatGPT picks a word, it's not picking based on fact or memory. Nope, it's picking based on probability, just doing some mega math to predict what's most likely to make sense next. Imagine flipping a coin, but instead of heads or tails, there are thousands of possible sides, and the one that lands face up is its best guess for the next word. But what about making sure it doesn't go off the rails with nonsense answers? Enter reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. In a nutshell, real people came in to train the model after it was built, guiding it to avoid unhelpful or weird responses. If you've ever gotten an answer that sounds suspiciously reasonable or safe, RLHF is why. It's like the AI's little conscience installed by human reviewers. And here's a fun fact. ChatGPT has 175 billion parameters. These parameters are kind of like dials, each one tweaking ChatGPT's brain ever so slightly. It's using these dials to decide, based on past training, what's statistically likely to be correct in those 175 billion settings. That's what makes the difference between a helpful, accurate reply and ChatGPT going off into the realm of random guesses. Now, you might be wondering if it knows all this. Does it actually understand anything? Nope. ChatGPT is like a really good parrot. It can mimic human conversation perfectly without actually comprehending anything. Ask it why 2 + 2 = 4, and it'll give you an answer based on math rules it's seen before, not because it understands numbers. Lastly, ChatGPT has something called a token limit. This means that while it's good at short-term memory in a chat, each conversation is wiped clean as soon as it ends. That's why if you ask it something new later, it's like, who are you again? So let's sum it up. ChatGPT isn't thinking. It's just really good at predicting. It's using its transformer model, token tossing, attention mechanics, and some human feedback to keep its responses in check. And while it may sound pretty human, remember, behind the screen, it's just some wild math and pattern matching.